Ignite. I am so excited to kick off our webinar today. This is a webinar series. This is week 1, and next week will be week 2 on Digital Fundraising 101. Ignite is super proud to partner with ActBlue to put on this content, and ActBlue is also a partner with us for our on-the-ground conferences Young Women Run. We partnered in New York, and we'll be partnering with them again in DC this summer. And so we all know fundraising, there's so much fun in fundraising. And there are so many tools and so many strategies to be able to do that. And it's also super critical whether you are going to be the candidate or whether you are going to be the campaign manager or the finance director to know all of these different tools. And so I'm super excited to turn it over to Cynthia from ActBlue, who is going to provide our training this afternoon. Tess, I'm going to mute myself. Let me know if you need anything.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today via the internet. My name is Tess, and I work with state and local candidates via ActBlue. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of ActBlue in the past, but we are a mission-based tech nonprofit, and we build the fundraising platform for Democratic candidates and committees and other nonprofits. We also, since we are a nonprofit, have to run our own fundraising program. We work with campaigns and organizations of all sizes, up and down the ballot, across the country. So whether you're running for president or dog catcher, we can hopefully help you to access more donors via digital fundraising. So my number one goal for today is to help you all to build your own empowering digital program that can bring in a wide range of donors and votes for your campaign. At ActBlue, our motto is small dollars, big change. We're trying to empower people to get in touch with their grassroots supporters and bring new donors and new voices into the fold through their fundraising programs. I will be breaking for questions, so if you have anything, just wait up and we'll cover it, I'm sure. Thanks. So to kick off, what exactly is digital fundraising? We like to think of ourselves as at the intersection of two of the things that stress people out the most about campaigning, and that's money and technology. So hopefully we can break it down and make it a little bit easier for you all today. Digital fundraising is basically any kind of fundraising that occurs through mass communication. So that's whether it's email, social media, or even text. I'm sure that's something we've all received from time to time. Digital fundraising allows us to bring our message directly to the people who will show up for us on election day, so your constituents. It also allows us to access a far larger base of donors than was previously accessible. If you think about how fundraising was done in the past, generally through someone's personal and business network and through in-person events only, it really limits you to the people who candidates are already interacting with in their day-to-day life and campaigning. Whereas digital fundraising allows you to access a wider base via the internet, via social media, and really tap into a larger base of your community. So you're accessing the voices that you intend to serve. Why exactly does this grassroots support even matter? We like to think that when you have people donating to your campaign and getting involved, these are people who are likely to not only donate $5 to your campaign, but to turn around and volunteer to knock doors and to have their friends do the same. Oftentimes these donors, especially ones who are new and first-time donors, at ActBlue in our past cycle, we saw that 60% of our new donors were women, which is a really cool fact. But these new donors are people who have typically not had a voice in the political system. And they're really eager to scream out that voice and to let themselves be heard. And as candidates and campaign managers, I think it's so important that we listen to these voices and we're responsive to what the people need. And allowing them to get involved in your campaign and invest financially is a great way to build out your community. This goes beyond raising money, as I said. These are the people that will actually get out, knock doors. They're the people who are passionate about your campaign, not only because they're accustomed to giving money to whatever their favorite party is, but because they care about the issues and they exist in your community, and they'll be directly affected by the issues that you're legislating on later on. So I'd love for a quick break, just if anyone has a question about what exactly is digital fundraising. If not, we can carry on. I won't force you. All right. Seems like we might have one question. All right, well, we might be good for now. Okay, so I'd love to hear from you all for a moment, and feel free to take a second to think about this. But what emails in the past have you received that have really made an impact on you? This can be a campaign email, it can be an email from a nonprofit. It can even be a personal solicitation from a friend to volunteer or donate to a cause. What really made an impact on you and why? I'll give you all a second to think, and you could just look at me awkwardly. Great. So Susanna said short, concise, and genuine transparency. That's a really great note, and something I'm going to get into a little later as well. And I think what it gets down to is that we want to read quick things. Part of the beauty of digital fundraising is that it's an easy and accessible way to get in touch with people. But if it's a long email, then you're never going to read it and you're not going to be able to get in touch in the same way. So thank you so much for sharing that, Susanna. Amber said a topic that she can relate to. I also think this is super important. Part of the beauty of email is that it feels so personal. And when it's something that you personally care about, of course you're going to want to donate. Of course you're going to want to respond when it's an issue you care about a lot. All right. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone. We're gonna, oh, and Mia said genuine. That's really great as well. And that's something I'll also touch on, speaking in our own voice. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone. That's really a great way to start thinking about how we want to run our own programs and why digital is so important. All right, so this kind of goes exactly off of what Amber was saying, but the beauty of digital fundraising and making your own email program is that you get to make your supporters feel like they're part of something that's bigger than just themselves. At ActBlue, as I mentioned, we have to fundraise both for our own activities and we get to see the larger trends across digital and progressive fundraising. So looking at the past cycle, we actually saw that the biggest spikes in fundraising always coincide with a news story. And this is because when people feel scared or hurt or angry or sad, they want to get involved and they want to take action. And it's our job as candidates or campaign managers to make sure that our constituents have a way to get involved and act for the issues that they care about. And they can do this through fundraising and through donating to your campaign, which is a really amazing tool if you think about it. So how exactly do we go about building this effective program? I know it seems really daunting. You get a lot of emails, I'm sure we all do. But we want to ensure that we can make people care and make people react in the same way that you all reacted. So to kick off, you're going to need some people to actually send these emails to. And where do you get that? I recommend start by Rolodexing yourself. So go through and think about the past jobs that you've had, the past volunteer opportunities. At your birthday party, who do you invite? Who do you get texts from? Who do you have to send text to on their birthday? Make a list of all these people, everyone you send holiday cards to. Amy Klobuchar likes to say that all of her ex-boyfriends have donated to her presidential campaign. So really think about everyone you come in contact with who would be excited to support your campaign, or at least that you could coerce into doing so. From there, you can also utilize other tools in your normal line of campaigning. You're going to interact with a ton of people who are excited about your campaign. So when you're going door to door or when you're hosting in-person events at a parade, if someone's excited about your campaign, make sure you write down their email so they can later on become a donor and become more involved in your campaign. Another great way that other people have gone about fundraising or building their email list, rather, sorry, is through Facebook and Google Ads. I don't know if anyone here has ever actually signed a birthday card to Michelle Obama online. But I hate to break it to you, the odds are that that wasn't actually going to Michelle Obama. Things like birthday cards or some issue petitions are actually intended to get an idea of people who are like-minded to join email lists. So if you're running, let's say for school board, and you wanted to tell your supporters to please sign this petition via a Google ad, to voice their support or objection to a certain policy that you're advocating for. That's a great way to build a list of not only people who agree with you, but people who may want to become donors or volunteers for your campaign. From there, as I mentioned, when you have your great list of people who care about the same issues and are excited about your candidacy, it's your job to give them the opportunity to respond to a moment. When they're sad, when they're angry, when they're frustrated, when they're scared, you have to make sure that your email program is up and running so they can go and click that button and donate to your campaign and let you know how much they care. One of my coworkers was telling me earlier this year, Senator Heidi Heitkamp was up for re-election in North Dakota. And it was a really tough race. And she was down 15 points in the polls. No one thought she was going to win. And at that moment, she made a really tough call. And a lot of progressive donors across the country were really excited and wanted to show their support. And she saw one of the biggest fundraising spikes that we saw in the entire cycle. And it wasn't because people thought she would win by donating. It's because people wanted to send a message. And it made people feel better. It made them feel involved to donate to her campaign. So they weren't making an investment with the expectation that she would win. They were doing it to show her that they cared and they agreed. So you can make your donors do the same thing. When you're making these policy decisions or making pronouncements, when you're just, going about your normal activities of campaigning, make sure people know what you're doing. And when they are able to feel passionate and feel angry, they have an outlet, and that outlet can be donating to your campaign. The other thing that I know we always think about is subject lines. I know I stress out every single time I send an email about what my subject line should be, and not that it should be stressful, but don't be afraid to get creative with what you're using in your own email fundraising. I was looking through today, and of course, there's a lot of people who choose like the serious and grave messages, like the clock is ticking and we're constantly in jeopardy. And that works great. A lot of people click on those, and a lot of people like those. I also saw some funner ones. Someone was sending ones of Beyonce lyrics. So feel free to get creative and use what is best in your own voice. I believe Mia, said earlier, she liked that email because it was genuine. And I want us to think about our emails in the same way. You should be able to use your own voice and let your own personality shine through. And that brings us to my next point. When you're writing your email, not only do you want to keep it short, as Susanna said, and keep it concise, but you want to write compelling copy that sounds like you. These email programs are not a press release. It's not a formal dissertation on a policy subject. It's a great way to directly connect to your voters and your donors. So when you're writing it, I'd recommend, even if you're having a volunteer run your email campaign, or your campaign manager is doing it in your stead, which they probably should be. When you start off your campaign, just write out a couple emails to get a sense of what you want your voice to look like and what kind of things you'd want to say to your voters. So you can sound genuine in these emails. And so it is a personal appeal. The beauty of digital fundraising is that we're getting in touch with a lot of people right in their home inboxes. So you're going to pop up next to their boss and their mom and that weird chain email that they got from their uncle. And the beauty of that is that we can be personal and we can be informal. So I encourage you to stay genuine. The last thing you're going to need to do, which might be a little less natural to you, is to make a hard ask. I know when we all ask for favors, we tend to hem and haw. We get a little nervous. We don't want to seem like we're inconveniencing anyone. But the truth is, you need money to raise for your campaign, and your constituents and donors are excited that you're running and they want to get involved. So don't be afraid to use phrases like, I'm counting on you for your support. Can you chip in? I need your donation to do X, Y, Z. Because it's when we make these hard asks that people most feel compelled to go ahead and make the donation. I like to think of our emails as kind of a simple equation at the end of the day. You have to share your story. You have to tell people what you hope to accomplish and how that mirrors an issue that they most care about. And you have to tell them how their donation will make that happen. So here's a simple example. I'm Tess. I live in this community. I have to drive my kids to work every day. I know there's a pothole in the street and we're all worried about our tires. If you give me $10 donation today, it will allow me to knock on 50 more doors. And when I get elected, I'm going to dedicate more funds to fix our roads. So if you see, we have a clear path from this is an issue I care about. Here's why I care about it. I know you care about it. And here's how making your donation today will create this change. You're bringing your donors into the fold. They're not only funding your campaign, but they're part of your campaign. They are part of the change that they want to see. And I really think it's important to have an empowering program that allows your donors not to think of it as, your ATM machine, but rather an integral part of your campaign. All right, here's a great example of this being done. At the bottom, you can see this says, will you donate $25, $50, or $100 so Victory Institute can support more fellows next summer? The amount we receive is directly related to how many LGBTQ young people like me will be able to be on the Hill come June. So if you see, there's a direct issue, there's a direct thing that they're addressing. And they're asking you to make that donation with a hard ask and telling you exactly what the result will be if they do make that donation. So you want to carry that all the way through so the donors know how important it is to their campaign and to their own opinions and lifestyle to make that eventual donation. All right. Are there any questions before we get started on our exercise on exactly how to go about writing your campaign or building your email list? Wait a second. All right, we feel pretty good. Okay, now I'd love if we all took some time, the next 8 minutes, to draft and share a fundraising email. Much like I did, I'm not running for anything. I don't have any kids. I don't know if there's potholes in my neighborhood. I don't even drive. So it can be pretty abstract. It doesn't have to be based in fact, but I would love if we wrote down a fundraising email about the office that you wish you could run for and the policies that you care about. And make sure that you're using that hard ask at the end. So if we can all take 8 minutes to do that, and then we can share and discuss. Awesome. Thank you.
Tess, I just realized too that we could, because it is a little bit of a smaller group, I could turn it on so that everyone could speak.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I want to try that.
That'd be great.
Are there more slides? And we can come back to the slide deck. I'm going to see, let's see what happens. Discussion.
Okay, great.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I didn't lose you.
That's all right. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Oh, there's so many more people on.
Oh, good.
Oh, excellent. Ladies, can you hear us, or can someone speak that's attending?
Amber said yes.
I think we can speak now too. I'm Mia, by the way.
Oh, hi, Mia from LA. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Cool. So we'll let you guys keep working on your exercise. Feel free to ask any questions, obviously verbally or in the chat box. And then we'll go from there. Has anyone on this call ever done a fundraising email before? Except for Tess and I.
I haven't. I'm actually a college student. I'm trying to figure out how digital fundraising works now so I don't have to worry about it later.
Oh, great. Very smart.
Does anyone want us to go back to the example? Would it be helpful to have the example back up? Shannon has.
Oh, great. Shannon, that means you're going to have to be first to share. I'm kidding. You don't have to. Oh, poor Shannon. I really was kidding.
Shannon, we love team players. Which side, Sarah? The example slide? That one? Yeah, okay. How many more minutes do they have left, Tess?
I believe there's like 3 minutes left.
Awesome. Who's going to go first?
Huh, no hands yet. You have
No
fun.
hands. It's okay. We can read your names out loud. I think Shannon wants to go first.
Shannon can just use an old fundraising email. I won't tell. If anyone feels ready to share, you can also go ahead. You don't have to wait until everyone's done.
Should we call on somebody?
Yeah, go for it. What should I have to do?
Amber Whitaker, would you like to go first? It's still discussion, right? Okay, good.
Oh,
It's okay. We always stay ready. Just share with the group what you have. She's going to type it out for us.
Okay, great. And believe me, I know this was a very short amount of time, and I hope if you actually do run your own fundraising program, you spend way longer than 7 minutes to write your email. So this is just a first draft, but I'd love to see the ideas.
Is anyone on the phone want to share? I know that someone's typing, but does anyone on the phone want to share? Oh, they're so shy right now. So funny.
Awesome.
Is that Amber's?
Yeah, Amber, that'd be awesome if you want to share that, if you don't mind.
Amber, do you have audio? I wonder if that's why she's typing it versus.
Oh, awesome. Do you mind if I read this out loud? Awesome. Or can everyone read it? I believe that we can fix what is broken and we could make right what is wrong. I know we demand a fair fight for our nation by ensuring every eligible voter can access the ballot. I will continue to fight for every person, whether or not they share my beliefs and my background, because we share a common responsibility to our country. Will you join me in demanding a fair fight for every eligible voter by making a contribution today? Together, we will lead the way forward on voting rights and restore our democracy. Onward. I mean, I'm ready to whip out my credit card right now. I think everyone is.
I know.
I think that email does a great job of starting off with the story and the issue that they're looking to fix. And then they elicit not only a hard ask, but they use that hard ask to say, like, this will demand a fair fight. Through this donation, you will be sending that message and using your voice. So it's really awesome. That's a really good example. Would anyone else like to share? Sorry. Does anyone else have thoughts on Amber's that they want to share? What it made you feel, if it made you want to donate? Oh, cool. So Mia said, I think the email had a ton of conviction and she would appreciate this specific anecdote at some point. That's a really great idea. And I think that is true. People like to hear a specific story if you have one handy. And Susanna really liked the language, which I think a lot of people connect with. It's really strong and really emotional language. So I think if someone was feeling angry or sad reading that, it would elicit those emotions and make them want to donate all the more. For sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Amber. I think that was a really cool example. And it definitely made me want to donate. So I imagine it was Stacey Abrams. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a Stacey Abrams? Yeah. Tess, do you want to take any questions from the young women? I think they're scared to share their emails. Yeah, I totally understand. But we have a few minutes left, and I would love to hear or see if anybody has any questions for Tess. There is a second component to this training next week. This was just the beginning of starting to understand digital fundraising, and next week we'll do some more, but we can take a question or two before we have to hop off.
And if you have separate questions, you can always email me, and I'm more than happy to get in touch if you're a little shy to say it right now. But I'm sure other people have the same question you have, so share if you have one.
I don't see any coming in.
All right, that's totally fine.
Hello?
Oh, I hear someone.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, this is Sierra.
Hi, Sierra.
Hi, I was gonna, if you're open to it, I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I could read just a quick fundraising letter that I kind of drafted.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so I don't know if we have to pick any particular organization, but I kind of just use one that I was a part of in the past. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Hi, friend. This past year, I was fortunate to join a group of courageous women as I served as the ambassador for Running Start, and as we trained other women to run for political office. As a graduate of Spelman College, the Women's Campaign School at Yale University, both women's colleges, I understand the importance of women running for political office. It is because of this reason that I have partnered with Running Start and many other organizations to bring more women to run for political office. Will you donate $25, $50, or $100 so that I can help support more women running for office? The amount I receive will directly benefit young women who desire to pursue politics, young women just like me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think it's great that you shared a personal anecdote. And you definitely elicited that hard ask in the end and let them know exactly how you were going to use it, which is awesome.
Thanks.
Tess, can you give some feedback about, like, I think a lot of our young men are always curious about, like, the different dollar amounts. Like,
Yeah,
do they give the different options already? Do they stay with one option?
We always say give multiple options at the end of your email. And we rank from lowest to highest, so everyone feels like it's accessible. But definitely give multiple options via digital. And I definitely say in other box as well. But I think it is important to state the amounts in there. And as for how much you're asking for, it's definitely less via email. But one of the best ways we find to see how much you should be asking for is actually to just look through emails of people running for similar offices as you, and see what they're asking for, so you can get a sense of what's appropriate. But definitely, you're not asking for the same amounts that you would be if you're talking in person to a friend. It's a lower lift via email.
Okay, thank you. And then Susanna asked, what's the ideal length of an email according to some of the trends you're seeing?
Yeah. So I would say personally, I never would read our email more than like 2 short paragraphs. And if you look through a lot of emails, I know like video has become common, but I think even that has pretty low conversion rate. Emails are typically really successful when you keep it as short as possible, I'd say, without losing the meat of what you're asking for. Another important thing to keep in mind is that when you're writing emails, you typically just want to have one ask per email. So if it's a fundraising donation email, great, make it purposeful for that. But if you're asking people to like come out and knock your door, focus on that. So you don't want to have too many different asks. You can't pull people in too many different directions. Their span of attention is really short. So ask for what you need in that one email. And you can always send more, but keep it focused. But thank you.
And then how often should they be sending these emails?
So we say at minimum, no matter what campaign you're running, you should send them at least once a week. This keeps your donors engaged, and you can vary up what kind of emails they are. As I said, if you want to do a poll one week, fundraising another, volunteer requests, but to keep your list active and to really see what kind of response rate you're getting, you should do once a week at least.
Okay. We can't click on the support page. What is it?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you can't. You're very right, Amber. These links are not clickable, but we, what can we do, Tess?
I can share a link with you right now if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, you can just send it right there. Excellent.
Right, one moment.
And as you do that, does anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, we will wrap up today, and then this will continue next week on Wednesday, April 24th. And then if you are joining us in Washington, D.C., you'll get to enjoy at least a full hour with Tess in a small group in your cohort in Washington, D.C. for our national conference.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And again, please feel free to get in touch with me at my email if you have any more questions about this.
Awesome. Amber will be there. Perfect.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you for investing in yourself. Thank you so much, Tess. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.